is looking to partner with Fintech player named Ribbit Capital as well. So stay tuned to that. Henry, welcome back to the show as well. A little intro, a little background.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kyle. Henry An here. I have an advisory firm called HHN Capital. I provide CFO and COO services to startup and SMBs. The second hat is I'm a venture partner for a venture fund, spend a fair amount of time looking at fintech, blockchain, enterprise, basically anything data-driven, AI, ML, business analytics. Great to be here. Love to share a few thoughts along the way, and then love to hear what my fellow panelists, colleagues here have to say and learn from them as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Speaking of enterprise, we're seeing a ton of activity in the enterprise space right now. A lot more enterprises are entering into the blockchain space, either investing, partnering, or integrating solutions into almost everything they do, whether it's back office, it's supply chains, or the entire value chain network and logistics as well. We're seeing a ton of activity there. So stay tuned for more on that. Jose, welcome back to the show as well. A little intro, little background.
Thank you, Kyle. So happy to be here today and see all my friends here on this panel. Fantastic, huge panel today. So really lovely to see this happening. So my name is Jose Grasa. Today, I'm the chairman and CEO of Bismarck Corp. I'm also the president of the Bismarck Fund and also the CEO of the Bismarck TV. In essence, what we do is we focus on business inclusion. We pick up from ground zero up to the point that you become venture worthy or venture investment worthy. That's our focus. We invest essentially in all types of technology and everything which is related to business inclusion, including decentralized accounting, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and everything which is related to this area, which also includes cryptocurrencies and digital economies. Thank you, Kyle.
Wonderful, and welcome back, Jose, as well. Ifran, welcome as well back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. A little intro and a little background.
Hi, Kyle. Good morning to everyone, and Happy New Year. Good to see all my fellow panelists and some great known faces. That said, we're at a very interesting time it's the beginning of the new decade. And, of course, we're going to be talking about blockchain and the industry as to what's happening there. But I also want to focus on one of the areas that I think is going to pick up heavily is the area of data privacy and censorship. And one of the latest things that's happening, Telegram just announced about 500 million new users in their platform. And it's also growing in the Signal devices also. So, and it's important because as to what just happened with WhatsApp and Facebook. So we're probably at the dusk of the old era and the dawn of a new era. So super excited to be in this topic and this panel today. Thank you.
And absolutely great point, Ifran. I mean, the idea of decentralization or the decentralized social media, as it was being pointed out, is a very hot topic right now. But to Ifran's point, it is the dusk coming into the dawn of this era, and very excited to see how we go from 2.0, Web 2.0, into the future of the web, which many have classified as Web 3.0, and how that will play a role in the future of our digital lives as well. And with that, Irina, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. A little intro, a little background as well.
Thank you, Kyle. It's a pleasure to be back. It's so exciting. I mean, this year is just more than what we've ever imagined for blockchain and for crypto industry, and of course for the financial global state. I mean, what's happening now is exponentially, is just hard to fathom, and we are right in the middle of all that soup, guys. So Irina Litchfield, founder of Blockchain Cubed. Blockchain Cubed is a blockchain consulting firm. We do high-level infrastructure design as far as technology, as well as integration into the industry. I'm also founder of Lumeria. Lumeria is where capital meets innovation. We are investor relations and investor attention marketing firm. So I identified that very, very well in a couple of weeks. I'm sure you noticed that, Kyle. I'm also founding advisor of a global securities exchange. I'm an advisor of ProChain Capital, which is a crypto hedge fund in New York, and then also, of course, advisor for Space Fund. Financial technology innovation and democratization of opportunities and democratization of investments for people all around the world have been my goal for over 15 years. I've been integrating and innovating financial technology from since I opened my first business here in America, and it's been an exciting journey, and especially with the crypto world, of what we're experiencing right now, to where we finally validating the need and application of blockchain technology, or not blockchain technology, but distributed ledger technology is amazing. And we've all been working very hard toward it. And it's finally great to see this implementation, because it has been a wild ride. All the ups and downs and speculations, and being crypto industry being a gray area and unregulated globally, have caused a lot of damage because of the scams and because of other associated things. But no longer those things are issue for the most part. We are embracing now the time when we will and we are implementing technology to change the way our financial markets work and the global capital markets work as well. Thank you, Kyle.
Absolutely. Thank you, Irina. And last but not least, Frederico, it's a pleasure to have you back here as well with us on VCTV. Just a little intro, a little background for everybody.
Hello, Kyle. It's very nice to be back. It has been a while. I'm Fred, based out of Brazil. I'm a founding partner at Lotus Investment Strategies. We are born as an investment company focused on blockchain and crypto, both on primary and the secondary market. We have been doing this for quite some time, and now we are also involved in tokenization of real assets that, as we speak, a few times in the past, Kyle, I thought it was a trend. I believe it's a trend. It's the revolution of the capital markets and all markets as a whole. And we do believe that we need to not only democratize everything, but also de-intermediate everything. And I think, and I agree with Irina, that we are closer to that. And pandemic has been, of course, a catalyzer, and 2021 will be even bigger. We see a lot of initiatives bringing things together, bringing digital banking, crypto, real assets, from real estate to art collections to cars to anything. And this is the Web 3.0 that we discussed last year, and is just becoming reality, not only for small groups like ourselves, but I believe for the overall public.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, Frederico, for painting that picture, and really also for everyone setting the stage to today's discussion. But before we get started, we do have an entrepreneur who wants to join us on our virtual stage here at VCTV to pitch us here his company as well, for all of us to hear a little bit more about. Alexander, are you there? We want to make sure you get a chance to get up here and pitch as well, and show us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Would you like me to pitch right now?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
It was unexpectedly, because it's 1917 now in my time frame, but okay. If you will allow me to share the screen, I will do it right away.
Absolutely. So while Alexander is getting his screen ready, investors, we all know this drill, but just as a reminder, Alexander will have the chance to pitch all of us here in just a moment. He'll have 4 minutes on the clock. As he goes through his pitch, please take any notes or any kinds of feedback as well. And afterwards, we'll come to each of you for any feedback or one question that you may have for him. And then we'll make sure everyone is able to connect offline with him and share contact information as well in the chat afterwards as well. And so, Alexander, with that, you've got 4 minutes on the clock. We can see your screen. And so we'll turn it over to you, and the show is yours.
Organizers told me 5 minutes, but I will try to reduce it to 4, but no, never mind. So guys, Actually, I would like to present you to our new initiative. We are currently launching the global DeFi bank, which is actually the way how to connect the current DeFi Ethereum ecospace to real world assets. So what we did, we actually do a lot of research and find out that the current DeFi is not yet connected to the financial system. And the current financial system is definitely outdated and broken. And DeFi is actually allowing us to find the proper way how to utilize it, but it's not yet connected to real world assets. So we try to connect them. As we are as a technological company, we definitely know how to do it. So we decided to find the most pain points in this industry. And first of all, it's negative rates, because you have to pay money to store your money. And the banks are trying currently discriminate us about the value of our assets and provide us the different products if we have the different value of our assets. And for example, in Africa, where we quite, powerful, in Africa, a lot of people actually unbanked because they cannot yet been connected to the bank products, because the banks are not yet allowed them to get the access. So we decided to turn it back to the society. And in August, we saw the huge spike in mostly Ethers and then Bitcoins locked in total value locked in DeFi. So being the cross-chain protocol, we decided to jump into this sphere. We checked that what we can add to the society is cross-chain, for example, both Bitcoin, Ethereum, later on other chains like Binance and others. And then to add the synthetics products like if you will check the history, both synthetics and Uniswap grew as hell. Like in a couple of months, they got on top. And of course, all of them is about yield farming. So we started from real world. We found a couple of businesses because we actually digitized the large logistics chains. As for the sugar trading, gold trading across the globe, we are the digital transformation partners of the couple of governments across the Africa and Southeast Asia. So we found a couple of businesses which can pay us back more than the bank can pay us as a annual interest rate. And then we interconnect those products to people who can allow them to lend their Ethers or Bitcoins to the platform. So we have invented this lending borrowing mechanism or protocol, and we definitely target currently the derivatives market, which is enormously huge. And thanks to the digital, it will be even more, because everyone who has the assets now would be able to digitize it. So in our vision is to have the very, very free access to the lending market and to make it profitable, not to banksters, but to make it profitable for everyone. If you have an account in our global DeFi bank, you will have the profit from it, the part of this profit. So you may consider it as a DeFi 2.0. So we are allowed you with your Bitcoins, Ethers, gold, other access, yachts, villas, whatever you'd like to, you can put it to get the access to the liquidity inside of it, and then to put it to the borrower side, who will pay you back more than bank will pay you. And we will share the profits across all the holders, all the accounts holders, everyone except us. Anonymous lending, collateralized loans, tokenize all the assets we can do. Of course, staking, yellow farming as a driving mechanism. And of course, working tokens for DAO members. And you will compare us to Aave or Compound. You will find us as an Aave on steroids. We have more than they have, and we are like ahead of them. So we have started from gold and Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and gold is quite new for this DeFi ecosystem. And we are able to provide more than 8-10% back insured by the famous insurers across the globe. And from us, it's a good start. So we have the clear roadmap. Currently, you can buy these Unite tokens to get your freedom tokens as a rewards. And we pretty sure that we would be able to get assets under management more than 1 billion during the first year. Why we can do it? Because actually we are the current, as I told you, digital transformation operator in several countries. We have launched the national blockchain in Tunisia. We have tokenized the gold in Switzerland. We have tokenized the sugar in Dubai together with the government of the Dubai. So we know for sure how to do it. We have the pretty ultra skilled professionals team can deliver this product. And we do understand that this United Fi is DeFi plus DEX plus the neobank. And we are currently delivering this product to market. So if you'd like to get to this financial revolution, please join us today. We will be happy to help you to be part of it. Thank you, guys. I would be happy to answer all your questions. It was
Wonderful.
my pleasure to deliver today.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Wonderful presentation as well. And to all of our investors today, we'll have Alexander send us the deck and we'll circulate it to all of you afterwards as we make the connection as well. So thank you, Alexander, and thank you, investors. And Alexander, I have two quick questions to kick us off with, if you don't mind. So first and foremost, you talked about you're targeting about $1 billion AUM. Can you share with us kind of where you are as a team right now in terms of assets under management?
Yes, of course. So we have signed the first 1,500 of pure gold as a first asset we will tokenize, and we are currently tokenizing. The 1,500 of tons is to get us around, I think, 100 mil. I mean, 100 mils, and it's a good start. We have a couple of wheelers in Spain, which the amount is about 25 mils, and we also have the several hundreds of bitcoins, which also would be tokenized. So we have initial sets of assets, and currently we are in a very deep discussions with guys from metal industry who would like to support us with their metals, mostly with rhodium, copper, and aluminum. So we are pretty sure we would be able to deliver the mark we set during the 1 year frame. So we are currently starting from like 18% delivery from the day one.
Got it. All right, Alexander, I'm going to pause you right there. So I want to make sure all of our investors get a chance to get you feedback as well. So real quick, thank you on that. And Henry, let's start with you. Any feedback or a question for Alexander as well? Oh, Henry, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so for me, it's kind of simple. I just want to, Alexander, it seems like it appears to me that you touch on a lot of different areas. Can you maybe share your thoughts in terms of, is there like a specific areas of focus you're putting more attention and energy to it? Having different areas is good, you diversify, but also, we just want to understand your areas of focus. Are there niche areas you're putting more of your energy into? Thank you.
Yes, of course. The initial area for our focus is Bitcoin, is digital gold, because we definitely know that, for example, the holders of gold are currently paying like a 1.5% every year to store it. So we offered them the opportunity to get 1.5% on top of the cost of storage. So we will pay for them the cost of storage, and we will pay them more if they will allow us to use their gold in the lend and borrowing mechanism protocol we have introduced to the market. The same with the Bitcoin. According to the price of Bitcoin, which actually spiked to whatever, now it's 35,000. So a lot of people don't want to sell it. So they will use it as a collateral in our protocol. So we will allow them to earn 3.5% annual interest rate using their Bitcoins through the system. So for us, Bitcoin and gold is definitely the focus number one. And then the real world assets would be the target number two.
Got it. All right, Brett.
Sorry, I lost internet there, so I didn't go to the presentation. So I'm not going to add any commentary on this one, but if you send me the deck, I'll take a deeper look at it.
Okay.
It has been shared, but I'm pretty sure the organizers will share it. If not, just connect me with the email you have just seen on the screen. We will definitely share it with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexander. Jose.
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions. First of all is, where are you incorporated?
We have the SRO approved, FINMA approved entity in Switzerland. As a standard asset management company. And we, as a holding, we have been settled in Liechtenstein.
Okay, and how many companies belong to the group, or just 2 entities?
For the United Fi, we decided to create a spin-off. If we are talking about the Universal as a blockchain protocol, we have been created the company per country or per region basis. So we have, for example, Universal Hub Africa, which is actually for the Africa region. And we have the Malaysia, which is actually for the Malaysia region, but it's for the protocol itself. For the Neo Bank, we have created those asset management company, which we would like to share as the equity and the tokens with the future token holders.
And how much are you looking for right now, and where are they going to invest in?
Yes, we have started the private investing round. So we have collected like a 50 applications from the potential investors. So we have actually explained them the rules to KYC AML. So we have about 20 of them on board.
And how much are you fundraising?
The minimum check is 10 grants and the maximum check is 500 grants.
Yes, but how much are you fundraising total?
Just 3 meals. We don't need it more because, the protocol is done, the platform is done. We just need to create an application on top of that, just to be sure that all legal requirements, all the financial structures and integration with banks would be done, with insurance company would be done, with a factoring company would be done. Just to complete all these steps, we decided to get up to 3 meals.
Got it. So Jose, I'm going to hold you right there. We'll connect you offline because I want to make sure everyone else gets a quick chance. Thank you, Jose. Ifran, any quick question, or feedback for Alexander?
Yeah, thank you, Alexander, for this presentation, and also LATOKEN to bring this in front of us. So I'll probably shift gears a little bit. I understand, why you're backing certain things with certain things, but let's talk about the consumer that you're planning to serve. So could you just explain to me a little bit that what is the advantage of a farmer in Africa to accept your lending option versus the traditional banks? I understand, besides the blockchain and all these things,
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Irfan. I would be happy to answer your question. The current situation with development market is pretty simple. So, for example, you have like hundreds of Bitcoins, and you would be able to lend them into the protocol. So people in Africa would like to get them in the average rate like a 5% per year. And for you, for example, if you are from the developed markets, the average API is less than 2%. So we have those ratio when it's very attractive to you to give them those funds. Of course, on top of your collateral as Bitcoins. And for them to get borrowed this money cheaper than they can get it from the banks. And this discrepancy allows us to play on those markets. And we can ensure this credits, if you call them so. So we ensure all those borrowings. And we are pretty sure that we will get this money back. And in this case, we have more than 1% as a profit from the mechanism. So you will get your profit, we will get our profits. The customers at the end will get their money cheaper than from the bank. So they will be able to run their business even cheaper than the traditional banking system. So instead of banksters, we are getting richer. I mean, each of us, 3 of us, and without those infrastructure, thanks to blockchain, it might be done through the smart contracts.
Thanks for the
All right.
explanation.
Frederico. Fred, I think you're on mute. No worries.
Hi. My question is about the tokenized real world assets. And how are you, and since you are working on different jurisdictions, how are you dealing with different jurisdictions, different regulations when you're bringing real assets on board? And if you're selling as a neobank, do you have a banking license? Do you intend to have a banking license? So 2 questions.
Okay, it's 2 questions. Let me start from the first one. As for the assets, of course, it's the most tough thing is to tokenize the real world asset class as real estate or the yacht or something else. But it has been done before the digital age. It has been done, so we just reinvent this process digitally. So we will allow you to get up to 70% of liquidity from the cost of your asset and insure it by the insurance company. And then you would be able to put this liquidity through the tokens to our protocol. As for your second question, and how to put it? Of course, we will create the special agents in all those regions where we would like to operate, because all those regional legislation system has been tuned to different class of assets. But then they would be able to tokenize. We would be able to add them to the systems. From our point of view, all the assets you currently own in the world might be tokenized and used. So we can get the liquidity out of them, to put them to the work, and to create the pool of liquidity from wheelers, real estate, yachts, cars, etc., etc., etc. So yes, of course, we have started from Bitcoin and gold as the most easiest for us to tokenize assets, but we will definitely come back to all other assets. Currently, we have asset management license, and we are using the like a partners bank license, but we will definitely get our own license soon as we will have enough funds to be able to afford it.
Thank you. Irina.
Yes, I have no questions. My feedback is, be careful, because unregulated markets can be very dangerous, and when you deal with the regulatory infrastructure, eventually, if it's in a gray area, it might come and it can come back, and usually will, even if it's slowly, and create a lot of problems. So regulatory infrastructure and compliance are one of the most important things that you must think about right now, because we are getting in a point to where regulators all over the world are going to be closely looking and supervising everything. So while before they did not understand a lot of things, they're quite educated at this point. So DeFi is great, and we need a lot of products, but just make sure that your regulatory compliance is on a key. And the reason I'm saying it is because that's what your investors are going to want to see. So gray areas, make sure you define a clear line and stay on the right side of that line.
We definitely do KYC AML currently, so we do not expect any issues from this side. As for the licenses part, as you know, we are holding asset management license, so we are completely regulated in terms of providing your digital assets. As for the future licenses, we will definitely, as I told you, we will apply for the banking license when it will be needed.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you all investors as well for providing your feedback and questions. Again, the presentation from Alexander has been circulated to all of you in your inboxes. We'll recirculate it after today's discussion. But again, thank you very much. And thank you, Alexander, as well. To our audience, make sure you check out Alexander and his company online as well. So now switching gears back into today's discussion, Alexander, if you could unshare your screen, or Maria, if you could drop the screen, that would be great, please. And then in terms of today's discussion, I do want to hear from each of you your thoughts as to what's happening in the industry. Again, a lot has happened over the past few days and really in the last 24 hours around fintech and blockchain. So let's dive right in. And Brett, it's a pleasure to see your special guest joining us today as well. But Henry, let's go ahead and kick it off with you. What is the current view of blockchain and fintech from an industry standpoint as you're seeing it currently today?
Absolutely. So there was some big news. Obviously, I think, we talked about this right before we got started in terms of how the Plaid deal fell through. I'm not overly surprised, but I think there's some positives along the way. Well, it depends on which side you're on. I mean, obviously, if you're on the Plaid side, you don't think it's so positive. But overall, I don't think it was that bad, because now, number one is, I think from Visa standpoint, temporarily you have potentially the regulators off your back a little bit. But the positive is, it doesn't mean that you cannot increase your investments into Plaid, right? You can't buy the whole thing, but it doesn't mean that you cannot increase the percentage of investment. You can continue to write checks as they're raising capital. Number two is, as you have investments in them, obviously Visa as a big platform, you can continue to work with them to increase your business. So overall, I think on the headline, it looks bad for Visa in general. But I think if you look at the other side of the coin, it doesn't seem that bad. And then the second issue I want to talk about is, I think big tech have been getting into payments. I've been seeing big tech, or for example, we have seen Apple Pay the last couple of years, and then obviously we've been hearing more about Google Pay, Facebook Pay, WhatsApp Pay, Amazon Pay. That's the big tech. Now you have big enterprises are getting into fintech. Walmart recently announced that they're going to partner up with someone to get into fintech. So there are just a lot of moving parts. A lot of exciting things are happening in fintech, and I'll stop there. Thanks.
And also Hyundai. So Walmart was partnering with Rivet Capital was the company, just to confirm that for you. And then also Hyundai has also announced that they are now tracking all or most of their entire supply around auto parts on blockchain as well. And we've seen this as a reoccurring theme in the automotive space and also in aerospace as well. Just to add on to your point, Henry, thank you very much. And Ifran, I see you shaking your head, so I'll just come to you next to follow on to anything Henry said, but then also what is your current view of what you're seeing in these two industries?
Thanks, Kyle. So first of all, the reason I was nodding is, blockchain and supply chain is an area that I have been really focused in. We made a couple of investments there. One of our portfolio has been working with Bayer Monsanto, among others, for some time, block apps. But besides that, I think the important aspect, and I think, I want to talk about this a little bit. Yes, the industry has shown, both the fintech and the blockchain and the crypto industry has shown a lot of positive signs. I'm not going to talk about the hype cycle, because we feel like that we are getting into that craze again in a way, but I'm going to talk about the more generalized, aspects of it and what we are looking to expect in the coming 10 years. So one of which is, of course, fintech as well as blockchain is going to get more legitimized. It's been talked about more. It is a necessary tool. I mean, we have been talking about that, why it's necessary. And the big players, the traditional players have always known that. And they're figuring out ways to kind of like be part of this change. Now, here's the thing, there are several changes that's happening in several places, one of which is fintech and the other ones in other spaces too. Although I feel that, the most interesting information here is, Coinbase, is going public. That's very interesting. And this is going to create a whole rally of, companies, going into that space. Celsius Network, I believe, is also going public. And so blockchain is going to be the mainstream, and the mainstream companies within the blockchain space are gonna see exponential growth. I know that even Coinbase and a few other entities have been supporting a major crypto tax company, so which is also something that we're going to be looking into just in the near future. So all in all, I am very bullish about the prospect about the movers within the blockchain space and the companies. Although I'm not very bullish about the industry incumbents coming into this space, and I just don't believe that these organizations, regardless of anything, they do not have it in their culture to kind of like bring the whole decentralized community as well as the decentralized concept of blockchain within their organization. And I'm going to stand by it. And I don't see that happening. I mean, I don't see them succeeding in it. I see them, trying hard to it, but I don't see them succeeding in it. Thanks.
And another company that's rumored, to potentially be going public is BlockFi as well on that list of companies. I know Masari has also put out there in the world that along with the Block Crypto, both in respected ways, have put out how we may see an M&A spree, a merger and acquisition spree, unlike we've seen before in the blockchain industry going into 21, 22, and potentially into even 23, as so much is happening. We might see some of those enterprises that Henry was mentioning as well, scoop up some of these companies just to plug them in. My personal prediction is Visa is going to go on a full-fledged acquisition spree with about $5 billion that didn't go into Plaid. So we'll see how that all turns out, for better or for worse. Brett, to you, current state, what are you seeing?
Current state, great question. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot to this, so I'll just try to be simple. I think the fintech space, as we've talked about this quite a bit on, has really matured. As one of the other panelists was talking about, the big players are getting into it. That's happening or happened. So it feels like the fintech space is really on its way and really established. That whole movement's coming. I wouldn't say it's come and gone, but it's become mature and it's become more mainstream. And DeFi and the blockchain space is actually starting to get way more traction than when we ever thought. And it's the DeFi space is, for me, is kind of the intersection of blockchain and fintech. And it's always been an area that I was really excited about. And it's exciting to see it finally get some feet under it. Is like last March, when all kind of the COVID started stuff, we were working on fundraising for a DeFi platform, and we could not get a single person to respond to our emails. So a lot of this just really follows the price of Bitcoin, right? So suddenly, I don't know, for whatever reason, people got scared and started staying at home and investing, their PPP loans or whatever, their checks from the government, and this whole space has taken off. And I think really, we're, quite a few years out from the whole blockchain space, really all of the pieces being built, but it's exciting to see like kind of the plumbing and the other pieces. So it's, it's really kind of mirroring what has happened in fintech, but I do think that it's probably still another 3 to 5 years out before it's a real mature space.
Well, what's exciting is all of us as investors, but also as enthusiasts in the industry or experts as well, is this is the first time in a long time that we've been able to see the plumbing get built or be a part of the plumbing, right? In the past, and we'll call it Web 2 in the last decade, but prior, you either were in it or you weren't. And if you were not, you didn't even know most of this stuff existed. Today, this is so open, and that goes to the mission or really the value behind blockchain. And now what we're starting to see with fintech is to show that as well so openly. So it's very exciting to see. And Arena, I want to come to you next. Your thoughts on the industry as a whole and where things are going, and then Frederick, and then Jose will close on you.
Yes, well, the industry is going toward more centralization as the decentralized companies do not get enough media coverage nor interest. I think so. A lot of pseudo decentralized projects are being called decentralized and all that. So we're heading toward more of a distortion mirror reality with that retrospect, I believe, unfortunately. So my urge and my call to the industry is to really support truly decentralized platforms and not those that are more centralized, just because we need to remain balanced. However, on the positive note, that was dark, but on the positive note, we have more great news for SEC. And again, going back, they've done a great job in the last 3 months, just really rolling out a lot of different rules and clarifications, not just for blockchain or crypto, but just overall, right? Your crowdfunding, your unaccredited investors up to $75 million, and now they finally have the clarity on what compliant tokenized securities look like. And so my prediction, and I've been saying that I've been talking about it for many months now, is that we will see a lot of growth in that. And now one more thing I want to clarify too is that we often mistaken distributed ledger technology and blockchains. And it is important to differentiate those, because for the most part, when we think about integration of a traditional finance, for example, let's take Corda. There are no blocks and there are no chains. It's a distributed ledger technology, and there are no tokens either, right? So I think that's an important clarity that we must make, because we need to start decoupling our technology of distributed ledger from cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, right? It is a happening year, and I do believe that we will finally see that decoupling after this growth cycle.
Thank you, Irina. And also just a quick shout out to Ashley at Bain Capital. She just threw a tweet out that I want to quote. A firm also from the fintech space has priced now what maybe their public offering around $15+ billion as well. And also Rapid Payments is looking to be raising over $300 million. Again, another company in the fintech space. So you're seeing more and more activity. So again, shout out to Ashley and to the team over at Bain as well. And Frederico, I want to come to you. Same question. Oh, Frederico, I think you're on mute.
I see different things happening in different layers. And one thing that nobody mentioned, but I think 2021 will be important, is the digital banking and new banks that not necessarily related to the blockchain space, but we have seen during the pandemic, as everybody had to be online for the banking, paying bills, etc., especially in not so mature markets like Brazil and others, where these new banks, they have been growing so fast, and they have been putting pressure on the incumbents, of course, because the costs to operate digitally are way lower than when you have a agent and etc. And for instance, our largest digital bank here in Brazil now has over 30 million accounts. Any 26, that's an example, in Europe has only 5 million, I guess. So this is my dog. So this for me is a big trend. On the blockchain, I see measures happening. I see consolidations on the enterprise side, especially for those companies that are providing platforms and the backbones, the infrastructure for everything. Not as much as incumbents coming and buying blockchain, but especially within the system, within the ecosystems. If you go and look at what Coinbase and other are doing hiring people, there are like dozens and hundreds of new positions open worldwide for a lot of things. And that represents, of course, the market going mature. Crypto and Bitcoin is going mainstream. Retail is in crypto, everybody's buying Bitcoin. That's not going to change 2021. Institutional is coming to Bitcoin and investment especially. That's something that I also believe it's a trend that is not going to change during 2021. We are going to see more and more funds. We have been approached and seen interest from more investors and everybody from the institutional side, and that's it's being possible because there is more regulation. Institutions are more. It's easier for them to make those kind of investments, and this is key for traditional and mainstream companies. We need to be. They need security. They need to be sure that they are putting their money, and I think this we saw in 2020 these kind of changes, and this will allow 2021 to be a year when institutions will come hard into the crypto space too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frederico, as well, and love the additional opinion that's being added as well. So tons of good stuff coming from your side today. Thank you. And Jose, close us out. What do you see happening in terms of activity quickly around blockchain and fintech from your view as well? We talk about this a lot with you and BizMoney, but in general, beyond just what BizMoney is doing in business inclusion, what else are you seeing in the space?
So I think Brad, also the other panel members, but essentially what Brad said made a lot of sense. I think he really touched the essential points. And I would like to pick that up and expand that a little bit. So definitely the fintech market is quite mature, and definitely blockchain, I think, is getting very close to the maturing process. I don't believe it will be the last version that we're going to see on blockchain. I think this is still the better version that is getting mature, and we're going to migrate into something more sexy that's going to make it probably in the next 12 months. Some news on that. And in essence, what concerns me always is the following. Whatever we do, if we like it or not, right, we are under regulation, right? And this is the problem. So I understand that we want to have this liberty and freedom and everything else. And don't get me wrong, I want that as well. But the problem is, one thing is what we want, and the other thing is what they will permit to be done. And definitely regulation, because things are getting much more mature, will come harder and harder to grab this, more or less. And there is no society possible, even if we dream about it, at least not for a long time, without banks, because countries would become ungovernable. They would not be able to print money. They would not be able to manage the economy itself and manipulate the way they want. And it's not a perfect system that we have, but this is what we have, and we cannot migrate everything from one day to the other. It will take some time. And I really like Bitcoin. Okay, I had Bitcoins in the past, so I don't have it now. So I'm just saying it, and so I cashed out a few times. And but the problem is like this: Bitcoin is a non-regulated environment. Okay, my question is, how long will they permit that Bitcoin will be able to work in a non-regulated environment? And the main reason that I haven't been accepting is because it has no face behind the system, right? but it doesn't mean that it cannot be shut down, okay, or that we cannot have something else, right? So a lot of it will be talked about definitely in the next 2-3 years. I'm a strong believer of digital currencies, okay? So that, in my opinion, will take over sooner or later. And it would not surprise me if we also are going to face another bubble one of these days, that the market is going to collapse once more. Because look at it like this, whatever we do, right, it's all about speculation, okay? There's no substance into a lot of things that are going on. It's basically everybody, wanting to take a piece of the pie as long as they can and speculate and get a piece of that speculation. But at the end, the guys who come lost, they will pay the bill, right? So let's see how this turns out. It's obvious that Bitcoin will go up and up and up, right? That's more than natural because there's more demand and there are no more Bitcoins available. And even if you mine them, they are limited to the 20 million. And from the 20 million, I think they lost like 2 million already. So it's logical that it goes up, but it's not a natural process that it goes up backed by real assets. It's a process that people put in money and it goes up by demand and on speculation. And I hope that one of these days we don't have a nasty surprise for a lot of people, like happened 1 year ago during Christmas, that suddenly it dropped down from 20,000 up to 10,000. So we have seen it before. Hopefully it goes up constantly, and let's hope for the best.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you all for your opinions as well around these industries and also getting in a little bit to digital currencies as well. But I do want to come, as we are at the top of the hour, so I want to be respectful of everyone's schedules, for any quick closing thoughts that you may have. Again, very quick, but then also where everyone can find you to continue the conversation, as this is a topic of interest for all of you, and our audience definitely wants to hear more. But we'll continue this subject every day, every week here on VCTV. So stay tuned for more. Henry, let's go ahead and start with you, rapid fire. Any closing thoughts, and then where can you be found online as well?
Absolutely, thank you, Kyle. So I think I would leave it, just continuing the theme of what Jose said. While fintech is very hot, cryptocurrency, so on and so forth. I want to remind investors who are investing in cryptocurrency, the bull market of Bitcoin, this is not the first time. I think it's been like the third or fourth time bull market. I think the last one, in case people forgot, was 2017. 2017 was a little bit different than this time around. Every cycle, it's similar, but they're not identically the same. Basically, you have the whole rise of 2017 and then basically crash in the beginning of 2018. I don't know how high it's going to go. It has been pretty high, went as high as I think 41,000 Bitcoin, that is. I think it dropped in a couple of days back to 33,000. That's 20%. So if you buy it at that point, you lost 20%, assuming that you sold on, right? And at least on paper, loss. So I think just a word of caution there. I think where you can find me, Henry on here, you can look me up on LinkedIn for whoever is interested to hook up. Please look me up on LinkedIn. Thank you, Kyle, and thank you, LATOKEN.
Thank you very much, Henry. Brett, and thank you for the thumbs up.
Real quick, I think we're still early in all this, and there's a lot to be built out. If you're an entrepreneur, think about the things that are hard to use and don't work, and build those things. I think there's great opportunity in that space. You can find me at brnoise at unventures.co, LinkedIn, Brett Noise, Twitter, Brett Noise. And as always, thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brett. Jose, where can everyone find you?
You can find me essentially on LinkedIn, which is the network that I use most. Just look up for BizMoney or Jose Graca with a C, and you will find me. And thank you to be on your show, Cal.
Thank you, Jose. Efron, closing thoughts, and where can everyone find you?
Hi, thanks everyone for a great session. It was great to learn, and thanks for the pitch also. Anyone can reach me through my LinkedIn or Twitter at Semper Irfan. My closing thought, I'm not a financial advisor, so I cannot make any financial, feedback. So only thing I would say is that, think about, I would take on the more philosophical approach. So, what do you really think Satoshi wanted to do when he created Bitcoin. You know, it's beyond money, beyond a lot of things. I mean, even people like Julian Assange was not part of his tribe. So just remember that and what we were trying to build and what is it for, because that's the whole point of everything. And then we'll see where it gets there, you know. Thanks.
Wonderful. Federico.
I can be found on LinkedIn /Frederico Mesquita. My closing thoughts, I would like to call attention to the real assets tokenization that I think it's a trend. And as someone just said, I think it was Brad, regulation is key. Banks will be around for a while. And when you are talking about DeFi, I think some people forget about that. I think banks will play a role, and investors want the banks. They provide security. They have been around for 100 years. So when you're talking about tokenizing and digitizing real assets, these need to be done under the umbrella of regulations, not one worldwide regulation, but local regulations. So solutions, they need to consider local regulations when you're trying to tokenize anything from real estate to whatever. And these kind of solutions that I expect to see on 2021, working side by side, traditional entities, banks or wherever, and new players from blockchain and from decentralized finance, these new crypto kids that are building so many nice protocols. That's my closing
Wonderful.
thoughts.
Thank you, Federico. Arena, close us out, closing thoughts.
Yes, thank you. My closing thoughts would be for the industry, for all of our industry, support truly decentralized networks. It's our number one kind of I think goal and a mission to make sure that we actually have something to anchor to. Okay, so this is not just the ethos of freedom, but this is also important for us, because if we do not have truly decentralized platforms and we do not push that innovation, then we do not, you know, your centralized platform, so decentralized, will not have something to anchor into. So therefore your single source of truth dies, and we cannot let single source of truth die, because we have so much to go on. Also, not a financial advisor, but for those who are watching and do not hold any crypto, I want to encourage you just to kind of go and buy 20 bucks of Bitcoin, okay? The reason I want you to do it is because once you do, you will start understanding what it is, and you will start looking into it. So don't think of it as an investment, as a financial investment, but think of it as kind of like an educational tool for yourself. And also remember, this is a bull run. So even if you have 20 bucks of Bitcoin, you become the cool person. You can talk about to your friends and, you know, tell them how you have a Bitcoin and, you know, how cool you are, and you can talk about it. And it's just like a great social interaction, whether you're meeting with your friends and family in a safe environment, personally, or online as well. So I want to leave you with that. And for those who are holding, remember, ups and downs are there. Remember that why you got into it. And I personally think it's best to kind of unplug during growth cycle from all these variables of how much it costs, so you are not experiencing the anxiety. You know, if you have, again, not financial advisor, but if you have and you're holding and you're not a trader and you say you want to see where it goes in 10 years, just sit on it and don't pay attention to price and don't freak out. So that's how. Google me and find whatever links, find me there.
Wonderful. Thank you all, Henry, Jose, Federico, Ifran, Arena, Brett, and also Alexander as well for his pitch today. But thank you all for your thoughts and insights and on the ground perspective of what's happening in the worlds of blockchain in Fintech. To our audience, if you like what you heard, click subscribe, share, give us a thumbs up. Check out the archives. I'm all kinds across. Thank you, Henry, Jose, and Arena as well, and Brett. And then to those that are listening, if you'd like to be on a show like today, like our guest, do reach out to the team and or myself, as well as an entrepreneur. If you'd like to join us on the virtual stage as Alexander did, we'd love to have you. Again, reach out to the team and or myself. We'll find the right spot for you. Speaking of that team, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making VCTV possible every single day and bringing us all together to share with you and also educate what's happening around different technologies, industries, and regions around the world. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. You can find me everywhere online at Kyle Ellicott and all social media, just like each and every one of our investors today. Do reach out. Make sure you add context. We'd love to hear from you and love to continue the conversation. With that, we'll be back here with more VCTV in just a moment. Bye, everybody.